Good morning, Elizabeth. I have your test here from the last unit. So we'll go over the questions that you missed, and then you can let me know if you need anything else. So for the first one, it asked what the final step was in solving the inequality. So I'm actually going to take this third step over here. -6 is less than -2x. So we would need to divide both sides by -2. Remember that when you divide by a negative, that causes the symbol, the inequality symbol, to flip. And so we get 3 is greater than x. And if I rewrite that with the variable on the left-hand side, that's the same as x is less than 3. So it looks like maybe you just forgot to flip the symbol on that one. The next question, it looks like a student is working through some steps to solve an equation, and it says which step has an incorrect instruction. So it says use the distributive property to simplify. Well, when you look at that equation, there actually is no distributive property. Remember, the distributive property would contain a set of parentheses with a number out in front to multiply. So that incorrect step is number 1. Number 9, in order to be invited to tutoring or extension activities, the student's performance must be at least 20 points higher or lower than an average score. If the average score is 105, which inequality represents P, the scores for students who are eligible for tutoring or extension activities? So 20 points higher than 105 would be 125, and 20 points lower would be 85. So your score has to be less than or equal to 85, or it has to be greater than or equal to 125. So if I'm looking at a number line, and I have 85 here and 125 here, here's the 105 average. We want to be here or less, we want to be here or greater. What you have is actually this area in between. That's the and inequality that says we're between 85 and 125, but it says at least 20 points higher or. So we want one of those or inequalities for this one. Which values are in the solution set of the compound inequality? Select 2 options. So you can do a couple of things here. You could test all of these numbers, or you could solve both of the inequalities. So I'm actually going to go that route and solve. So for this first part, for x plus 3 less than or equal to 0, I'm going to divide both sides by 4. You actually can do that instead of distributing. It takes a little bit of a shortcut. So I get x plus 3 is less than or equal to 0. When I subtract 3 from both sides, we get x is less than or equal to -3. And on the other side, we have 1/4 x plus 1 is greater than 3. So we're going to subtract 1 from both sides. 1/4 x is greater than 2. I'm going to multiply both sides by 4. That's going to cancel that fraction. So I get x is greater than 8. Now remember, this is an or inequality, so things can match both of these answers. X can't be 8. We're either less than or equal to -3, or we're greater than 8. So let's put it on a number line. It's a little bit easier to see this way. So we're on this side of 8, not including 8, or this side of -3, not including -3. So 0 falls in the middle, that doesn't work. 3 falls in the middle, 8 falls in the middle. But both -3 and -6 are in this part of the number line, so those are the 2 answers that work. Question 17, which inequality represents the same ages? So here you just have your symbols flipped from the actual answer. If we compare those symbols, what you're saying is that this says A is less than 12, and that says A is less than 18. You can't be less than 12 and less than 18. So like a number like, we want to sandwich that in between. We're talking about all the numbers here that are bigger than 12 and the numbers that are less than 18. So anytime you write a compound inequality that's an and inequality, so anytime there's shading in the middle here, these are the and inequalities, they'll look like this. The symbols are always both less than. And here you have a greater than and a less than, which is, that's talking about numbers less than 12. So that would also include all the numbers back here, numbers that are less than 12 and less than 18. So that part of the inequality or the number line is not shaded. So that's why that one's not correct. 23, what is the correct first step in solving the inequality? It looks like they're trying to get you to do the distributive property first. So when we multiply, we get negative 12 plus 5x. Remember that the negative 4 and that subtraction sign create subtracting a negative, and that is the same as adding a positive. I usually just tell my students, treat that 5 as if it's negative, so a negative times a negative is a positive, and it's this bottom answer down here. And it looks like those were the questions that you missed. So just a couple little minor errors. If you have any questions or if you want to retake the test, please reach out and I will get that reset for you.